Greetings, agents. This is Private Boulders, the mediocre gamer, and this is the Division 2. Today, I just wanted to offer some tips, tricks, suggestions on the game mode Descent and defeating the Nemesis. This is a fairly divisive game mode, Descent. It seems that people either really love it or they really hate it. Um, there's a few things like that people don't like about it. There's no there's no saving checkpoints. So if there's a bug or you crash or something, and you're at loop 60 or something, then you just lose all that progress. There is quite a bit of RNG, random number generator type stuff involved with this, about getting weapons, about getting skills, about getting talents, and so forth. And it's just a really different game mode where you kind of just have to make do with what you get and try and make the best of it. Initially, I didn't really like this game mode as well because I'm kind of used to, playing with what I play with and knowing what I know. And I guess this game mode kind of challenges that to, you kind of really need to think on your feet. You need to adapt to situations and you just need to try and make the best build out of what you've got. So, I've recently I've kind of started playing it a bit more, mainly on the weekly basis to defeat the Nemesis, get the comms, and the other thing I really like is the reconstructed caches where you can actually pick up named blueprints. So those couple of things combined kind of reinvigorated my interest in it, I guess. And I just wanted to pass on some things that I've learned that maybe might help you if you're struggling, if you're new to it, or you haven't played it before and maybe you want to get involved. So um, it does have something that I don't like, and that is this talent pool looping, I guess, where so you can see at the moment the talent pool is called Envy, and I'm probably not the only person to suggest this, but or say this, but I think Envy is probably the best talent pool. So if we just have a bit of a closer look, it's certainly got the best array of exotic talents available. So you've got Plague of the Outcasts, Agonizing Bite, Incessant Chatter, Bullet Hell, Payment in Kind, and Liberty or Death. I'm not going to read all those through individually, but they, kind of exist in the game, so you're probably familiar with them anyway. And usually at the end of the first loop, you'll get one of these. I think you'll get three of this pool that you can randomly choose. That you can choose one. It depends on your play style, on which one to choose, and it depends on what you're wanting. If you're just wanting to do the Nemesis and then that's it, then um, there's a couple of ways you could go. I probably wouldn't start off with Bullet Hell. Um, but as I said, this is the way I play. You may play differently. I like Agonizing Bite simply because this will help you with the Nemesis. Because as soon as if you get to the Nemesis and you have Agonizing Bite, as soon as you get to the Nemesis, it's going to put a mark on the Nemesis. Um, and by doing so, you'll be guaranteeing a critical hit with damage amp by 20%. And after hitting a mark, all shots fired are guaranteed critical hits for 2 seconds. So that is a very handy exotic talent to have if you're going for the Nemesis. I mean, obviously, if you want to see how high you can go as far as loops go, then it's still going to be handy. But it's probably the best one, I think, for targeting the Nemesis. Incessant Chatter is pretty good. Um, to probably, if you get to the end of loop one and Agonizing Bite is an option, then this is a good one to take because that rate of fire when you're near enemies is really good. That increases 20%. If you've got 5 enemies near you, you're at like 100% rate of fire. And then the second bit, kills refill 50% of your magazine. That's also a really handy thing as well. Um, Bullet Hell, obviously, don't need to be told about that. Um, for every 100 bullets that hit an enemy, replenish some ammo to you and your allies' reserves. The weapon never needs to be reloaded. Plague of the Outcast is obviously also a good one, where it applies a debuff. But strictly speaking, for the Nemesis, that's probably a really good one to have because it'll mark him as soon as you enter the room or as soon as he spawns. Liberty and Death is also a good one. So, as I said, Envy is probably the best talent pool. I think there's 5 talent pools that rotate every 2 or 3 days. I think Wraith is another good one. But as far as exotic talents goes, this is the way to go. Go Envy. So, if you're looking to do the Nemesis, get those comms so that you can listen to the background lore, and also um, if you want to get the reconstructed caches, then um, getting to the Nemesis will earn you that descent, those descent credits, so you can buy reconstructed cache at the vendor, or you can push on past the the Nemesis, and I can't remember what loop it is, but not there is a loop that not long after you get to the Nemesis, after you defeat the Nemesis, there is a couple of loops after that you have a chance of actually getting a reconstructed case when you finish your run. So if we have a look at offensive talents, some good ones here that you probably want to pick would be something like Allegro is a good one. Critical hit damage plus 10%. Um, maybe that, maybe the headshot damage one if you're good at headshots. Uh, Bonus critical hit chance is always good. Vigilance is really good. Um, Strained is another good one, and probably maybe Obliterate. So they're probably pretty good ones. Unhinged, depends how you feel about that one. That's a real double-edged sword type thing. Obviously, you're getting that extra weapon damage, but you're losing that stability and accuracy from it. Rifleman, that's not a bad one. So landing headshots. I'm not very good at landing headshots, so I probably don't take that one, and I don't take the precise one. Pummel, maybe. But yeah, look, from these, Allegro, Critical, Surgical, Vigilance, Strained, and Obliterate are probably my top picks. Once again, it just depends on what you're able to secure, I guess, at the end of each room, what talents are available. Um, and then from defensive ones, Clutch is a good one. So if you're below 15% armor, critical hits repair your armor. Preservation is a great one. So killing an enemy repairs 7% over 5 seconds, and headshots will improve that by an additional 5%. Leadership is a good one for cover to cover, um, for getting some bonus armor. Um, Entrench is also okay. Insulated for some hazard protection, and add rush. If you're close to enemies, then you'll get some bonus armor. So there's some good ones as well. Um, and then if we go to the utility ones, um, any of these kind of crowd control ones like Trauma, Sadist, Ignited, and Eyeless, they are really handy to have. Not only because it's a crowd control effect, like if they're blind or if they're on fire or if they're bleeding, then they're not worried about you, which gives you precious seconds to take them down, and also you're getting a damage amp as well. It's usually 20%, so Sadist 20% to bleeding, 20% to burning for ignited, and 20% to blinded. So if you can kind of combine those with some skills that kind of lean into these, then it's a really great combination. Something like a blinder firefly or any of the explosive sticky bombs and stuff like that, where they're kind of on fire. Um, that's really great. I would probably suggest that. So there's my hot take on the offensive, defensive, and utility skills and the exotics. Um, Weapons, it's really kind of potluck with weapons. I really prefer having an LMG and maybe an assault rifle, or sometimes a sniper rifle. That's my kind of um, preference, particularly if I can get an LMG with that's got like a decent mag to start off with, like an M60, which might have like 100 or 200 rounds in it or something like that. L86 is good, but it's only got like a 30 round clip or something like that, so you're constantly kind of reloading. But yeah, I do like the LMGs. Marksman's rifles, like a Model 700 or something like that, or an assault rifle like a FAMAS or something like that, really can help you out. So um, it all comes down to, I guess, your bit of your play style as well. Um, and also, don't forget that the pistol is free, unlimited ammo. So really, in those first few loops, you can clear most rooms just with your pistol, unless you kind of get cornered, or you might get overwhelmed a bit early or something like that. But to conserve ammo and to save your money so that you can purchase extra slots or extra ammo, or those type of upgrades, it really helps to just go with your pistol for those first few loops, and really only use whatever weapons you've chosen on like the high value target rooms, those that final room in each of the loops. Because then the last thing you want is to have a high value target and then run out of ammo on your primary weapon or something. Because even on the first loop, that high value target room, there's two waves of enemies, and the high value target always comes out on the second wave. So um, you'll find that you'll be able to clear most rooms just with your pistol and maybe what skill you've picked up. So that's a nice segue into skills, actually. So you may or may not be aware the Nemesis will copy your skills. So you really want to be careful when choosing skills, because remember, whatever skill you choose, the Nemesis is going to copy it. So there are some skills that I just avoid straight out if I'm just going for the Nemesis. And that's things like turrets, like the assault turret, the sniper turret, incinerator turret. I flat out avoid those, and stuff like the seeker mines, because those things are really hard to avoid. As soon as you pop up out of cover, those turrets are going to be on you, and the the seeker mines, they also are can be hard to avoid. You're going to be out of cover, and while you're out of cover, focusing on that skill that is attacking you, the Nemesis is going to be taking pot shots at you, and they're pretty powerful. They will one shot or two shot you. So I avoid those skills. I also won't take a shield, and I won't take a pulse, because the Nemesis can't copy those. Also a decoy. I do take a decoy, but I'll come back to that. So with pulses, anything that pulses or a decoy or a shield, the Nemesis can't copy that. So it just gets a random skill. So you don't want the Nemesis ending up with like an assault turret or seeker drones or something, seeker mines rather. So when you're going into the Nemesis, make sure you always have two skills, and if possible, don't take a shield or a pulse. I do like to take a decoy because it is really handy, and it is a bit of a risk that by taking that decoy, I don't know what the Nemesis is going to get. Um, but most of the time, it can be advantageous to take that decoy, because you throw the decoy out, obviously the Nemesis is going to target it straight away. It gives you a little bit of time to start putting rounds into the Nemesis. So some skills that you do want to take, anything like the stickies, like the fire, sticky, explosive, EMP, and the chems, like the fire chem and stuff like that, and the blinder firefly, and also riot foam. Uh, Riot foam is great as well. That's what I usually try to go with, riot foam. and decoy. Because if you can hit them with the riot foam, it will pop them up out of cover and it will lock them in place. So while they're trying to get out of cover or out of the riot foam, you're able to put rounds into them. And don't take anything like anything that kind of heals you. You know, like I can't, the name escapes me, but there's a couple of things that will heal you, um, or stuff that the oxy one as well that damages armor. Don't take stuff like that. So stick with the fire stickies and the chems and the blinder firefly, um, and the riot foam. I've found that that's been really successful for me in the past. Um, and yeah, I hope that you find it successful as well. So that's about it. Um, I'm going to also right now just show you how I went with the Nemesis on my most recent run. I won't bore you with the 4 or 5 loops that I did going up to the Nemesis, so I'm just going to cut in the final room with the Nemesis in it just to give you a bit of an idea of how I go. Um, and yeah, that's it. So we'll see how we go. Right, so here we are. I've made it to the Nemesis. Got there on loop 5, which is fairly standard. I don't think I picked any hard rooms. I think it actually tells you here anyway. So my exotic skill is Plague of the Outcasts. My offensive skills, I've got Obliterate at level 3, Critical at level 2, Strained at 1, and Allegro at 4, which is pretty good. I got almost a 30% increase in fire rate. Preservation at 2, Insulated at 1, and Clutch at 2. And then I've got Sadist at 1, Trauma at 3, and Ignited at 1. So that's pretty handy for kind of crowd control on enemies. Yeah, because if they're not blind, they're bleeding or they're on fire or something like that. So that's quite handy. Skills, I've got the explosive sticky bomb and the blinder firefly. I've got a light machine gun, classic M60, and a Model 700 marksman's rifle. So as far as the defeating the Nemesis goes, just want to make sure that obviously you've got plenty of ammo and your health kits and grenades are all stocked up, which I believe mine are. Just want to get some special ammo. So what I would suggest would be, and it depends, probably, yep, I'm going to go with high velocity, just because reading the description with the hollow points, elite and named units can display superior resistance to these effects, whereas this, with the high velocity, um, it's especially useful against certain elite units. So hoping that that works with the Nemesis. All right, so we're ready to go. What I normally do is when I get in there, I usually run over to the left because there is an elevated position that can give you a slight advantage over the Nemesis, so that can come in handy. So let's see how we go. Just got to run over there. Sometimes it can be a little bit hit and miss on where the Nemesis spawns. They can be close or a fair way away. There you go, they're right in front of me. Okay. So he or she has blinded me, obviously. So that's the same skill I have, so obviously they've copied that. Probably got some kind of explosive um, launcher or something. Flag of the Outcast might finish her off. Yep, there you go. So it really wasn't really in any real danger there. So there you go. Nemesis defeated. Loop 5. As you can see there, I didn't do any hard rooms. I just did 8 easy and 12 medium. Didn't put anything into extra armor or skill tier. As you can see, you don't really need it. You just want to, it's a DPS check. You just want to put everything basically into weapon damage. Um, so there you go. I hope you found this helpful. Once again, I really thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Please consider clicking like and subscribe. And if you have any comments or feedback, or if you want to see me do all the loops up until Nemesis, you want to see me post a video on that, let me know. Or if there's any other content you would like to see, please let me know and I'll fumble my way through it. But for now, this is Private Boulders signing off. Take care and stay safe.